So thank you for being here for Nienke's coffee, because I hadn't drank it yet. And this coffee meditation. So it's basically I make my coffee, I drink coffee every morning anyway. I used to usually go sit at my computer and get working right away. And I said, no, you don't need to do that. I just sit down and I do them together. I sit. So it's called stacking. You take a habit you already have, drinking coffee, and then you stack it with another habit you want to cultivate, meditation. And it seems to have worked quite well for me. So here we are sitting. Let's just take a few morning deep breaths. And this is something else I do when I have the window open. I just I like to breathe in the fresh air. I don't care how cold it is, the window gets opened. Breathe in the fresh air, fresh morning breath. Maybe the shoulders want to roll a little, settling in. Good. And these live Zoom meditations we're doing, I want to stack also some nervous system regulation. So we're going to actually do the butterfly tapping this morning. So if you crisscross your hands, this is actually, I think this was my favorite one. And you can do a little more snuggly hug and get the shoulders, arms, and you can just start tapping. And you can do this with your eyes either closed or open. And feel the tapping, like feel the firm, the press, listen to the sound, go a little firmer. Try that on. Go a little lighter. Try that on. Go a little faster. Go much slower. You feel that. Mm. And then you can just start to slide your hands in a little bit more. So the butterflies just got little wings fluttering more on your chest, collarbones, little butterfly flutters. Can just breathe naturally here. You might just naturally take a little deeper sigh breath and then slow it down. Bilateral stimulations. This is very calming. It's really good for anxiety. It helps just kind of get you out of your head. Anxiety is your head in overdrive, in future oriented worry. So it's like you get out of your head, you get into your body. This is what somatics is. And then just come to a still place and hold. Slide your hands in so they're right on top of each other, right in the center of your chest, and hold again in that loving way. This releases oxytocin, the buffer for our cortisol. Now, of course, this is morning time, so we are releasing cortisol in the morning, little bits of cortisol to wake us up. This is healthy. This is normal. It's when stress becomes overwhelming, when we're having a moment, frustrated, we're annoyed, we're triggered, we react. That's when it's chronically too much cortisol. So oxytocin could be that buffer hormone, the bonding hormone or cuddle chemical. Take a final deep breath here. Ah, good. And then just settle your hands. Ah, so those little somatic, mm, these are nervous system regulating tools, and they are somatic. They're somatic movements. That's it. Just take 5 minutes, take a couple minutes, and they can just bring you back home to yourself. And so it can be a nice entryway into meditation. So finding your upright position. So this is important. I'd always say this is like the beginning, we have to, like we're going on a journey, we got to prepare for the journey. So sitting, finding your comfortable seat is your preparation. You want to be sitting upright. It doesn't matter if you're in a chair, if you're on a couch, or on the floor, like I am. Uh, as long as you're just creating an upright spine, imagine someone has a string right at the top of your head and they're pulling the top of your head up. It's making you that little bit taller, shoulders back and down, and hands comfortable resting in your lap. Or again, if you're having your morning coffee or tea, you can hold your coffee or tea. At times, you can put it back down at times. Let it be natural. So, seeds of intention and drinking with awareness. This is the theme for our meditation today. So, as you do settle in and settle into this moment, bring your awareness to your breath. And just even if you're drinking your coffee or tea, noticing your breath. Of course, we can't breathe and drink at the same time, so there's kind of a little dance going on. And just as we allow ourselves to arrive here in this moment, in presence, we're still in this beginning of our new year. We're arriving in the newness of 2026. Just arrive at a place of not striving. Sometimes resolutions have that flavor. It's a goal, something we're striving for. We're going to try to let go of the striving because there's nothing right now in this moment to improve upon. The, the present moment is really just finding acceptance of this moment as it is. If you are holding a cup, or if you're not, that's fine. Just bring awareness to your hands, and just do you ever notice how you hold cups? Are you right-handed? Are you left-handed? Even observing if you do have a cup, the cup you chose. This is my morning coffee cup. I used to have a pug. What's the pug? It's got little chips on it. I don't care. It's still my favorite mug. And appreciate. Feel the weight of the cup in your hands. Maybe even notice the warmth. My coffee's cooled down a little bit, but how warm yours might be. So in the silent retreat yesterday, we did mindful eating. And mindful eating, mindful drinking, it's about slowing the process down, bringing all your senses, your smell, your eyes to see. Of course, the when you take the drink, it makes sound, slurping, swallowing, and the taste, of course, the feeling of the coffee, the warmth, the fluid, and then the taste of your drink. Maybe it's a drink of water. This is probably very healthy in the morning tempo. I do have water in the morning, but I love my coffee. And Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk, um, who's not on the earth plane anymore, but his messages have been so beautiful about bringing peace into the world, and as far as bringing mindfulness into what we're taking in with food. Do this with your meal today, um, is to acknowledge that this drink is the result of many conditions. that we are receiving the soft rain, the sunlight, the human care, the time. Like think about, the seeds that were planted for the coffee beans or if it's tea, all the hands that went into that and the ability that it somehow arrived at our homes. And then even the ritual of making a coffee or a tea, there's so much rich history in especially tea ritual to acknowledge all the elements that, were able to make this possible. It's things we take for granted, right? So I think the mindfulness can bring that appreciation in. So each time you're taking a sip, just receiving. Slow it down again, like we slow down the butterfly tapping. It's such a wonderful principle. I'm practicing this consciously, to slow things down. It does not feel good to be rushed. I think, cortisol releases. It's like just slow down. And so from this settled, attentive place, begin to sense what wants to shape the year ahead. So if we think of like even the seeds of the tea or the coffee beans or the tea leaves, those were planted. Those were seeds that were once planted by a human being. I assume a human being. Maybe there are heirloom forests, meaning it's natural. But usually it's intentional. Somebody's made that choice. And so we can also be intentional about planting seeds for this new year ahead. So from this settled, attentive place, begin to sense what wants to shape the year ahead for you. And again, not as a necessarily a resolution. It's not something to fix or to force. But ask yourself quietly in this moment, what quality do you want to live from this year? If you could show up in your way of being. Usually, this is something we're not doing so well. And yeah, we kind of have this. That's what resolutions are. We want to make better habits and make better choices. Which that's good. There's nothing wrong with that, but the intention's got a slightly different flavor. It's really the essence. Like so for example, if your New Year's resolution is to eat better, why? Why? Because you want to feel better. You want to have health. And if you did that, how would you feel? What's the essence of it? Yeah, maybe you would feel healthy, but you might feel more vibrant. You might have more energy. So the essence of it is what we're looking for. Maybe you want to cultivate any impatience um, that's been showing up in your life. Maybe you want to cultivate patience. I think peace, oh, everybody, let's put peace in our hearts. Let's cultivate that, bring that forth. And that's what we do in meditation. We cultivate peace, the ability to sit with discomfort, to sit with ourselves as we are. This naturally cultivates peace. It cultivates acceptance. Maybe one of your New Year's resolutions is to do something, like you've always wanted to do, experience, achieve. And that's great. It's great to have these dreams and goals, okay? But the intentions are essences. Imagine that's already come true. Maybe you want to climb Mount Everest, let's say, but imagine you're doing it. Imagine you're at the top right now. How would you feel? I mean, to do something, to step out of your comfort zone, it takes courage. Maybe that's your essence. Courage, strength. I think right now, if you're going through something challenging, really challenging, there's something you're really struggling with, the essence you could bring forth is radical acceptance. To bring that with you through that challenge. It can be very powerful because so often when things aren't going the way we want, we say to ourselves, "Oh, I wish things were different," or "I wish this didn't happen." It requires some radical acceptance there. So maybe that could be your intention as a seed you want to plant. So these seeds of intentions, I mean, it could just be a feeling, right? As we're coming into our heart space. It's a feeling. It's a feeling when you feel at peace. It's a feeling when you feel courageous. You feel the nervousness, the fear, but you do it anyway. That's how you develop courage. Okay, so just see what's calling within you. If you have chosen already your own personal resolutions, again, use that analogy. Imagine it's already true today. Okay, even though resolutions is usually something you work towards. But imagine you're fulfilling it, you're actually doing it, you're showing up that way. I want you to ask yourself, how would that make you feel? What's the quality, the essence, the characteristic? Those are seeds of intention. Sometimes when we're just not sure about all of this, like I'm just not sure, nothing's coming to mind. And that's okay too. Just to sit in that silent space. This is what the silence and the stillness allows us to drop a little deeper from the surface choppy mind, to go a little deeper into those deeper recesses of the mind where our inner truth resides and our guidance system resides. So when we can really be connected to our heart, let our heart center be the compass to direct us. And we don't have to decide today, by the way. It doesn't have to be chosen right away. Sometimes these things, like our coffee, needs to percolate, or like our tea needs to steep a little, just to marinate in this idea or this possibility of heart intentions, of seeds of change. Hmm. And of course, we don't want the mind to be overthinking these things either. It's not about analyzing. When we come to meditation, it's just dropping a little deeper into the heart. And so you just sometimes these things will just naturally arise. They'll just kind of come to mind like a little whisper. And you're like, okay, something about that feels right. I just want you to hold space. Just notice your breath, the coming and going, the life that's coming and going that changes all the time. And I think especially when I'm going through something challenging, remind myself this. What did they say? These things, um, this shall too pass is the thing. Now, that's not to bypass it. It's not to say, okay, we need to get over this. No, I don't think that's, I think there's a time to be with it, to hold space, to tend and befriend. But there's also a time of letting go. There's seasons, right? And just like our breath comes in, we receive it and we let go. The letting go is so important. The letting go clears the space. The letting go is the weeding of what's not working. No, but sometimes it takes time to weed, especially if your garden is weedy. You need to be out there every day, doing a little bit every day, tending to your inner garden. And in the retreat yesterday, we talked a bit about, also reflecting on the past year, again, as a way to receive the nuggets, but also to let go, so we can bring in these new seeds of intentions. And it's not one and then the other. It's kind of a dance, just like our breath comes and goes, receives and lets go. Just like life, the new day is here. We had to let go of tomorrow to let today come. The sun needed a set. It was an ending. So now this morning sun could rise. So just think about this, like that organic nature of life. And so with these intentions, like your coffee or tea, let it be something to be tended and returned to and savored slowly. So like also mindful eating, chew your food one bite at a time. There's no rush, there's no gobbling. Just to be mindful and appreciative. And so you do the same with the coffee meditation or tea meditation or your water meditation, whatever it is in the morning. And you can also do this with this work of, again, it's not a one time now. Just let your mind marinate in this idea of seeds of intention and let it be savored. When you insert little quiet present pauses into your day. Life, like the drink, may be bitter and might be sweet, or both. Notice how both flavors belong. Notice how presence allows you to meet each fully. So life is bitter and sweet. This is just simply a fact of life, and we don't need to make any more meaning of that. And we both can be savored, both can be held tenderly, tend and befriend. I like to think of it sometimes when you have those struggles, invite them in for a cup of tea. Say, come on, let's have a cup of tea together. What's going on? Tend and befriend like a friend. Welcome them in. Rumi says this, like a guest coming into your house. And you know what? When you spend some time with that guest and you hold space for that guest, just like a friend who listens to you, and all of a sudden you just feel a bit better. And you're going to tend to those places within you. And then you can say, goodbye, friend. Okay, it's time to go. And, you feel a little, you can let go. That helps soften so you can let go. And again, it's a process. So as we finish this meditation, and maybe as you finish your drink, I'm almost finished my coffee here. Just take a moment again. In Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings, it's almost like grace. You say grace before a meal, it's having gratitude, like we had gratitude for all the hands that brought this drink to us this morning. and how the nature, the sun and the rain and the soil brought this to us. So we also, when we finish our drink, how often do we do this? It's like the drink is empty, and you take a moment at the end to say, oh, that a gratitude moment, say thank you for that. And also gratitude knowing we're so blessed. We are just so blessed that we know this cup will be filled again. It will be filled again. And we're so blessed to have that trust and knowing that we are privileged to fill our cups again and again. So gratitude for nourishment, for the awareness. Okay. And it's like you don't have to rush, like sometimes, oh, the coffee's gone. Okay, let's go. You could just have that final moment. No rush to carry the intention forward. Just simply, again, this little seed maybe you've planted, or this idea maybe you're still mulling over to plant the seed. Walk with it. It's within you. Thich Nhat Hanh would always say, like, every step can be a step of peace. You're imprinting peace on the planet. So, like, your intentions are that. If your intention's courage, just imagine when you get up and walk, to go wash your cup, maybe, or to do what's next on your agenda today. Every step could be an imprint of courage, or an imprint of love, or an imprint of playfulness, or whatever that intention is. To let it not just be completed here in the meditation, to bring it with you, to walk with it, to let it inform you and remind you how to meet each day. Just come back to this moment here. And I love that saying, bloom where you are planted, right? So here, we're sitting on this fertile ground of our meditation, clearing the mind of the cobwebs of the weeds. And so we can bloom these intentions where we're planted. So, dear ones, I do invite you to bring your hands together and open up the three middle fingers. So you kind of make a flower. It's called Padma Mudra. It's a lotus flower. And this is very symbolic in the Buddhist tradition. The lotus flower does not touch the muddy water. The stem grows up away from the water and then it blooms. It's different than a lily. Like a lily will actually sit on the water, but the lotus flowers are not on the water. That's the difference. And they bloom from the mud and the muck. And so when you look into the lotus is a symbol of purity. But when you look into it, it's got the yellow stamen, and that is symbolic of the light. And each of us has the light in our heart. And so when our heart opens, which meditation helps to open it, bloom, we can peer into the light. And the mantra is Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum. And it means, may the jewel within the lotus that's within our heart, may it be realized. Om Mane Padme Hum. It's such a beautiful mantra. Seal your palms to your heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. And I thank you so much for waking up with me this morning, drinking our coffees or teas. Have a wonderful day, honoring the light within you. Namaste, my friend.